There are moments in life that leave us utterly bewildered. We've poured our hearts into something, invested our time, our energy, our deepest hopes and prayers, only to watch it crumble right before our eyes. Perhaps it was a relationship we thought was the one, a job opportunity that seemed tailor-made, or a dream that felt so close to fruition. We gave our all, we stayed patient, we even prayed fervently for things to align, but instead, they kept falling apart. In those disheartening moments, it's natural to turn inward, to search for fault, to wonder, what more could I have done? Where did I go wrong? We might blame ourselves, replaying every conversation, every decision, every missed signal, trying to pinpoint the flaw in our own efforts. But over time, as the dust settles and clarity begins to emerge, God, in His infinite wisdom and boundless love, starts to reveal a profound truth. It wasn't you. It wasn't your fault. It was the timing. No matter how much effort you pour into something, no matter how desperately you desire it, if it's not aligned with God's perfect timing, it simply won't come together in the way you hoped, or in the way that is truly best for you. This revelation is often a gentle, yet powerful, whisper from the Holy Spirit, lifting the burden of self-blame and replacing it with a deeper understanding of His sovereign hand. God has a way of showing us, in hindsight, precisely why He held certain things back. He didn't withhold blessings to punish you, or to deny you joy. On the contrary, He withheld them to protect what He is diligently preparing in your life. He sees the intricate tapestry of your journey, the parts you cannot see, the future implications of present choices. He knows where your heart still needs healing, where the other person wasn't truly ready, or where your divine purpose might have been compromised. When the timing isn't right, God, in His loving sovereignty, orchestrates circumstances to slow things down, allow them to fall through, or even make them so uncomfortable that you cannot possibly attach yourself to something that isn't fully prepared to grow with you. Though it can be incredibly difficult to accept in the raw moment of disappointment, the signs God gives, the closed doors, the persistent unease, the unexpected detours, are always meant to bring peace, not confusion. They are meant to guide you, not to punish you. When you take the time to look back, to reflect with an open heart, you begin to see the divine protection in the pause, the deep wisdom in the waiting, and the ultimate purpose behind every delay. It's in these moments of hindsight that we truly grasp the profound reality of God's timing and His unwavering commitment to our well-being and our ultimate fulfillment. Let's delve into 7 profound reasons why God might be delaying good things in your life, especially when it comes to relationships, and how these delays are in fact powerful acts of divine protection. Reason 1. God closed doors for your protection. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where doors just kept closing? No matter how relentlessly you tried to pry them open, you poured every ounce of effort into making something work. You tried talking more, giving more, compromising more, and even praying more, just desperate to see some tangible results. Yet, every step forward felt like 2 steps back. It was as if an invisible wall stood between you and your desired outcome. You couldn't fathom why things stubbornly refused to come together, even though your heart was utterly invested. It felt like a relentless uphill battle, a constant struggle against an unseen force. In these moments of profound frustration, it's easy to believe that God is punishing you, or that you are somehow unworthy. But the truth, the beautiful, comforting truth, is that He was not punishing you. He was actively protecting you. He allowed that door to remain firmly shut, because it led somewhere you were not meant to go at that time. Perhaps if He had allowed it to open, It would have led you down a path that would have delayed, damaged, or even derailed your true purpose. Think of it as a divine shield, a loving barrier that God places between you and potential harm, between you and a trajectory that would have led to regret, pain, or a deviation from His perfect plan for your life. When God blocks something, it's never because He wants to see you suffer. He shuts it to shield you from things you cannot see, from dangers or disappointments that are currently beyond your perception. You may not know what was truly behind that alluring door, the hidden pitfalls, the incompatible future, the long-term heartbreak. But He saw it all, and He loved you enough, cherished you enough, to keep it closed. He knows the intricate details of your destiny, and He will not allow anything to enter your life that does not align with His highest good for you. You can trust implicitly that God knows precisely what He is doing. His foresight is perfect, His vision unclouded. You don't have to force anything that is truly meant for you. The right door, the one aligned with His divine will open when the time is truly right, and when it does, you won't have to struggle, beg, or manipulate circumstances for it to remain open. It will simply flow, a natural unfolding of His grace. As Revelation 3:7 reminds us, He is the one who opens and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens. When it's in His perfect timing, God opens doors that no one can shut, and when He closes a door, no human effort can reopen it. This understanding brings immense peace, allowing you to release the need to control outcomes, and instead rest in His wise and protective hand. This deep trust in God's plan is paramount for your spiritual growth. As reason to see, you felt constant pressure instead of peace. Recall those situations where, despite your best efforts to convince yourself otherwise, you simply couldn't ignore the persistent tension you felt. Instead of a sense of calm and comfort, your heart remained anxious, unsettled, and perpetually on edge. Every conversation felt like walking on eggshells. Every interaction left you guessing and second-guessing your own perceptions. You constantly wondered if you were doing enough, saying the right things, or if you were somehow misinterpreting their intentions. That gnawing pressure wasn't a sign of love growing. It was God's gentle, yet firm, signal that something wasn't truly right. It was a divine alert, a spiritual check engine light. The Bible tells us in Philippians 4:7 that the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. This peace is not merely an absence of conflict. It is an active, supernatural presence that anchors your soul, even amidst uncertainty. When something is truly a part of God's divine plan for you, He never sends confusion or disquiet. His presence, His leading, His confirmation always brings a deep-seated peace, even when the path ahead isn't perfectly clear. The opposite of this peace, the anxiety, the constant pressure, the pervasive unsettledness, is a clear indicator that God was alerting your spirit. He didn't want you to keep ignoring what your heart, guided by the Holy Spirit, was trying to tell you. Peace is God's profound confirmation. When you had none, when that unsettling feeling persisted despite your attempts to rationalize it away, it was because He was not in that situation in the way you hoped He was. You may have clung on, hoping that with enough time or effort, the pressure would dissipate and true peace would eventually settle. But the pressure stayed because God was lovingly, persistently, saying, "This is not the right time, and this is not the right path for you." Instead of forcing what was devoid of calm, you had to learn the difficult, yet liberating, lesson of releasing it. Sometimes, the greatest act of faith isn't holding on tighter. It's choosing to walk away from something that consistently steals your peace. It's choosing to trust that God's peace is a more reliable compass than your immediate desires or expectations. Peace is not just a fleeting feeling, it's a spiritual sign that you are in step with God's will, that your heart is aligned with His divine rhythm. When you begin to prioritize peace as God's confirmation, you cultivate a profound trust in God's plan, recognizing that His delays are often His profound way of guiding you to a future filled with genuine tranquility and joy, free from the crushing weight of unnatural pressure. Finding peace in waiting becomes a testament to your trust in Him. Was reason 3. You were still healing from your past. Consider the times when your heart, unbeknownst to you, was still carrying deep, lingering pain from past wounds. Perhaps it was the betrayal of a previous relationship, the sting of unreciprocated affection, or the slow erosion of trust from someone else's actions. You found yourself attempting to open your heart to love again, yet inside, you were still bleeding, still trying to mend the fractured pieces of your spirit. You weren't fully ready to give all of yourself, because a significant part of you was still dedicated to picking up the fragments, to processing the trauma, to rebuilding your emotional fortress. God, who sees not just the surface, but the deepest recesses of your soul, knew you needed more time. He didn't delay love to inflict more hurt upon you. He delayed it so you could eventually walk into a new connection whole, healed, and truly ready to give and receive love in its purest form. He desired to give you ample space to breathe, to reflect, to process, and most importantly, to grow stronger in who you are in Him. If He had allowed a new relationship to blossom too soon, it would have added immense pressure to a heart still tender, still learning how to trust again, still vulnerable to the echoes of the past. It would have placed an unfair burden on both you and the new person, potentially leading to a cycle of pain rather than a journey of joy. God is incredibly patient with your healing journey. He understands that genuine healing doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, a season of restoration. While you might have initially perceived the delay as a rejection, as God withholding something good from you, He saw it as restoration. He knew you couldn't truly love another person in a healthy, sustainable way until you learned to love yourself the way He does, unconditionally, wholly, and without reservation. The time you spent in solitude, in introspection, in prayer, in counseling, in whatever form your healing took, was not wasted time. It was profoundly necessary. This period of waiting, of tending to your inner wounds, is a crucial part of your spiritual growth. It's during these times that God refines your character, strengthens your faith, and prepares you for the profound blessings He has in store. You will emerge from this season better, stronger, and more resilient for the one who comes next. And when that person does arrive, they will be eternally grateful that you took the courageous and essential time to become whole, to become the person God intended you to be. God cares infinitely more about the condition of your heart and your complete restoration than He does about adhering to your personal timeline. This delay was a deep act of His love, securing your future well-being and ensuring that your next chapter is built on a foundation of wholeness, not unresolved pain. Was reason 40. Your calling was bigger than that relationship. In the quiet depths of your being, perhaps unbeknownst to you at the time, there was something far greater stirring, something God had uniquely placed within you that had not yet fully come to life. You possessed dreams, unique gifts, and a divine calling, a specific assignment from the Creator of the universe that required your full, undistracted attention. The relationship you desired, the one that seemed so close to manifesting, simply did not align with that profound purpose yet. God, in His omniscient wisdom, knew that if he had granted you what you wanted too soon, it would inevitably compete with, or even overshadow, what he had called you to do. God didn't create you to live a small life, to merely exist or to chase fleeting desires. He crafted you with a unique design, breathed into you a specific destiny, something only you, with his empowerment, could fulfill. That period of delayed gratification, that timing that initially felt like a frustrating setback, was in fact a deliberate setup for something far more important, far more expansive. Your destiny, your divine assignment had to take priority. God was lovingly, yet firmly, calling you to focus on that first, to cultivate the seeds of greatness he had planted within your soul. Perhaps the person you desired was a good person, kind and well-intentioned, but they weren't the assignment. Or perhaps they were meant to be part of your life, but not in that particular season. God's calling doesn't operate on human convenience, it moves according to his perfect will and divine schedule. He needed you to see, to truly understand, how vast and significant your life could become without needing someone else to complete it. He wanted you to discover the fullness of who you are, independent of a romantic partner. This period of singular focus allowed you to clarify your vision, to hone your skills, to deepen your connection with him, and to build the foundational strength necessary for the weighty calling ahead. Now that you've had the space and time to grow more deeply into your calling, you find yourself clearer, more focused, and undeniably stronger. You are walking confidently in what God placed inside of you, manifesting his purpose with greater conviction and effectiveness. The beautiful truth is this: the Yellow's right relationship, the one that aligns with God's perfect plan, will never pull you away from your purpose. On the contrary, it will walk beside it, supporting it, championing it, and even enhancing it. The delay was not a denial of love, but a divine redirection, ensuring that your spiritual growth and your ultimate purpose remained central, preparing you for a partnership that would truly complement your journey and magnify his glory. This is a profound aspect of God's purpose in delays. Reason 5, you were putting them above God. It's a subtle shift, often imperceptible at first. You didn't consciously set out to do it, but gradually, your thoughts, your priorities, your very focus began to center around this person more than they centered around God. You might have found yourself praying less, listening less intently for his voice, and spending less time in his presence. Everything, it seemed, started to revolve around keeping them, pleasing them, or securing a future with them, rather than diligently seeking him and his will above all else. This isn't a judgment. It's a deeply human tendency to elevate our desires and attachments. God loves you too profoundly, too fiercely, to allow anyone or anything to take his rightful place in your heart. When a person, no matter how wonderful, begins to usurp God's throne in your life, when they become the source of your security, your joy, your validation, or your ultimate hope, he steps in. He doesn't do it out of anger or petty jealousy, but out of a protective, unwavering love. He knows the devastating consequences of building your life around fleeting human relationships instead of the unshakable foundation of his eternal presence. He understands that when people become idols, they will inevitably disappoint, because they were never meant to bear the weight of your ultimate devotion. That pause in timing, that unexpected delay, or even the painful end of a relationship, was often your spiritual wake-up call. It was God's way of lovingly interrupting a trajectory that would lead to spiritual imbalance and eventual heartbreak. It forced you to step back, to re-evaluate, and to honestly examine who truly had your attention, your highest affection, and your deepest allegiance. God doesn't want to be second in your life. He demands, and rightly deserves, the preeminence in your heart. When you inadvertently place someone on the throne that belongs solely to God, He, in His mercy, will sometimes remove the idol so that He can restore your precious and vital connection with Him. Now, as you look back, perhaps you can see how serious God is about being first in your life. And when He is truly first, when He occupies the rightful place of supreme authority and affection, everything else miraculously begins to fall into place. Your perspective shifts, your priorities align, and you find a profound sense of security that no human relationship can ever provide. You are safe, truly safe, when God leads your heart, not when fallible people do. This delay was a divine intervention, a loving discipline designed to remind you that before you give someone else your heart, you must first ensure that God has the absolute first say, the final word, and the highest place of honor within it. This lesson is fundamental to truly trusting God's plan and fostering deep spiritual growth. Reason 6. You were ignoring red flags. Reflect on those moments when, deep down, you noticed things that simply didn't sit right with you. There were behaviors, words, or actions from the other person that raised genuine concerns, subtle or even overt warnings that something was amiss. But instead of pulling away, instead of heeding those intuitive nudges, you pushed forward. You rationalized, you made excuses, you held on to hope, desperately wishing and praying that things would change, that the person would suddenly transform into the ideal you envisioned. You didn't want to believe what you were seeing, because acknowledging it would mean confronting a painful truth. God, in His boundless grace and His commitment to your well-being, gave you those warnings for a profound reason. He allowed you to see things that did not align with His perfect plan for your life, things that were not congruent with the character and integrity He desires for your significant relationships. When you dismissed those signs, when you chose to overlook the inconsistencies or the blatant red flags, you were, in essence, stepping into territory that was not covered in His peace or His protection. That painful delay, that unexpected closure, was Him stepping in, lovingly but firmly, before things progressed too far, before you became entangled in something that would cause deeper pain and regret. You cannot consciously ignore what God is showing you, through your discernment, through the wise counsel of others, or through His word, and still expect His full protection over your choices. True love, when walked with God, is not blind. On the contrary, He illuminates the path, showing you precisely what you need to know, so that you don't end up in a situation you will later regret. The delay wasn't a missed chance at happiness. It was a miraculous avoidance of a significant mistake, a divine rescue. That person may have had immense potential, and you may have seen the best in them. But God, who sees beyond surface appearances, saw the true condition of their heart, the underlying patterns, the unaddressed issues. He gave you that insight, not so you could judge or condemn them, but purely to protect yourself from unnecessary hurt. The delay in timing, therefore, was not a rejection of you or your desire for love. It was God's profound mercy, His tender intervention, shielding you from a future that would not have aligned with His highest good for you. Learning to recognize relationship red flags and trusting God's discernment is a crucial aspect of Christian faith and healthy spiritual growth. Reason 7. Their words didn't match their actions. How often have you found yourself captivated by beautiful words, by promises whispered with conviction, by eloquent expressions of care and commitment? They said all the right things, painted a compelling picture of a shared future, and articulated precisely what you longed to hear. But as time unfolded, you began to notice a troubling disconnect. Their actions simply did not follow through. You were drawn in by what they promised, by the potential they articulated, yet what they consistently did kept leaving you confused, disappointed, and questioning the reality of the connection. There was a growing, aching gap between what you heard and what you actually experienced, and you tirelessly tried to bridge it, to close the chasm with your own hope and effort. God, who is the embodiment of truth and integrity, wanted you to stop holding on to words that lacked the crucial backing of consistent action. Love, genuine love, is never just about talk or eloquent declarations. It requires tangible effort, unwavering honesty, transparent consistency, and a consistent willingness to show up when it truly counts, not just when it's convenient. You were being led by the alluring phantom of potential, a future that existed only in words, when God wanted you to look at verifiable patterns. The repeated actions, the reliable behaviors, the consistent follow-through, the delay, the inability for this situation to progress or stabilize, was a profound act of divine protection. It was designed to shield you from investing your precious time, energy, and emotional well-being into something that had no solid proof, no consistent foundation behind its grand pronouncements. God will never lead you to a relationship that is built on empty words, on unfulfilled promises, or on a facade of future intentions. He is a God of truth, and He desires for you to experience love that is real, tangible, and demonstrably consistent. He allows time to expose what the heart truly holds, to reveal the character behind the charisma, and to distinguish between mere rhetoric and genuine commitment. Now, with the clarity of hindsight and the wisdom gained from this experience, you understand a crucial truth: true love must be shown, not just said. It demands not only the articulation of affection, but also the consistent demonstration of care, respect, and fidelity. You deserve actions that reliably match the words spoken to you, a consistency that builds trust and security. And God, in His perfect love for you, will not give you anything less than what truly aligns with His truth, His steadfast character, and His desire for your profound well-being. This lesson in discerning truth from mere words is vital for navigating relationships and for your continued spiritual growth, teaching you to trust God's plan for a love that is both true in word and deed. In closing, beloved friend, remember these profound truths. There are indeed moments when everything seems like it should work, when you've poured your entire being into a desire, prayed with fervent hope, and waited with unwavering patience, only for things to repeatedly fall apart. In these times, it's a natural human response to blame yourself, to question your worth, or to wonder if you've somehow missed a crucial step. But today, let the powerful message of God's perfect timing resonate deep within your spirit. It wasn't you. It was not your fault. It was God's boundless love, His infinite wisdom, and His unwavering commitment to your highest good. God did not withhold blessings to hurt you, to punish you, or to deny you joy. Instead, He held things back to protect what He is diligently preparing in your life. He sees the entirety of your journey, the intricate details hidden from your sight, and He knows precisely where your heart needs healing, where another person wasn't truly ready, or where your divine purpose might have been compromised. The delays you've experienced, the closed doors, the periods of waiting, are not signs of rejection, but powerful acts of divine protection. When you felt constant pressure instead of peace, it was God's gentle warning, guiding you away from a path that would have stolen your tranquility. When you were still healing from past wounds, God paused the next chapter, allowing you the sacred space to become whole, to heal fully, and to enter future relationships from a place of strength, not vulnerability. When your calling was bigger than that relationship, God protected your destiny, ensuring that your unique purpose took precedence, knowing that the right partnership would always complement, not compete with, your divine assignment. When you were inadvertently putting someone above God, He lovingly intervened, drawing you back to Him, reminding you that He alone deserves the highest place in your heart, for He is the only one who can truly satisfy your deepest longings. When you were ignoring crucial red flags, God, in His mercy, intervened, shielding you from potential heartbreak and guiding you toward discernment. And when their words didn't match their actions, He exposed the inconsistency, protecting you from building your hopes on empty promises. Every single delay, every closed door, every moment of waiting that felt like a setback was, in fact, a divine setup. It was God working behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances for your ultimate good. He knows what you cannot see, He plans what you cannot yet conceive, and He protects you from what you don't even realize you need protection from. So, release the burden of self-blame, embrace the truth that God's timing is always perfect, always precise, and always rooted in His profound love for you. Trust His plan, even when it's unfolding in ways you don't yet understand. Find peace in the waiting, knowing that His delays are often His deepest expressions of care, shielding you from harm and guiding you to true fulfillment. Your journey is uniquely yours, carefully crafted by the master designer. Continue to seek Him first, to trust His voice, and to rest in the unwavering certainty that what God has for you is truly for you, and it will come to pass in His perfect time. Be blessed, knowing you are deeply loved and divinely protected.